First of all, thank you so much for your amazing comments below my latest San Francisco video. Thank you so much. I know you requested more of such format. So I asked my cameraman, he's from LA, I asked him to come to San Francisco every month to shoot something like this. Second, Dimitri, my husband, just got his green card yesterday. Congrats. Yay. And our dog is really happy. He's not our dog, we're babysitting him for 3 months. Yes, but he's really happy with us. Number 3, Oleg, my cameraman, is here. And today we're going to Silicon Valley. When I first arrived in Silicon Valley back in 2015, I thought that I'm gonna be living and staying in this place with skyscrapers and flying cars, and I felt like I was going to the future. But when I arrived in Silicon Valley, I realized it looks like a village. And you're gonna see yourself right now in this vlog. Let's go to Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley got its name from silicon semiconductors that were produced here. And a lot of people actually debate about the geographical area of Silicon Valley. Like for me, Silicon Valley is the place where innovation happens. And if we're talking about like headquarters of companies that are located here, there are a lot of companies in San Francisco, a lot of companies in Mountain View, Santa Clara, and a lot of companies in San Jose. So I would say, in terms of like innovation, Silicon Valley stretches from San Francisco to San Jose. But if we talk to local people, and if we would look at Wikipedia page for Silicon Valley, we would see that it's actually Santa Clara Valley territory. Silicon Valley started mostly thanks to Stanford. So basically, Stanford professors noticed that a lot of talented students that they were nourishing and teaching here at Stanford left this place to go to the East Coast to work for bigger companies. And professors were like, why don't you guys start a company here in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, and stay here and develop the ecosystem? And what Stanford started doing, they actually started leasing land to students at a discounted rate. And one of the first companies who started here were Hewlett and Packard. They started in their garage, and we're actually going to see it in this video, so continue watching. Of course, this is not the whole history of Silicon Valley, and there are so many places that you could see here. So today we're going to visit Stanford, we're going to visit Steve Jobs' house, we're going to visit Hewlett Packard's garage, we're going to see Google's office, we're going to talk to my friend Sergey, who's originally from Russia, working for an oil company and doing AR for them, and to my friend Mayuko, who's also in tech. I am so excited about today's video. Let's go. Our first stop is the city of Palo Alto. It's located 40 minutes away from San Francisco, and around 64,000 people live here. There are 3 main sites in Palo Alto. Stanford University, there's also Steve Jobs' house, and a garage where a company, HP, was founded. Stanford University is almost always in top 3 universities of the world. 83 Nobel Prize winners have graduated from Stanford. There are 700 buildings on Stanford's territory, and a lot of students actually live here. On average, you would pay around $54,000 to study here, and the acceptance rate is around 5%, which means that only 5 out of 100 applicants actually get admitted. But if you do get admitted, you have a chance to be one of the graduates who start billion-dollar companies. For instance, companies founded by Stanford's graduates, on average, make $3 trillion annually. Today is Stanford's graduation ceremony. Today, 7,000 bachelor students and 9,500 master's and PhD students graduate from Stanford. There are 2,000 teachers at Stanford, which means for every teacher, there are 8 students, which is pretty cool, I think. But the coolest thing about Stanford are salaries after graduation. So on average, people who graduate from bachelors at Stanford make around $50,000 a year, which is not a lot in Silicon Valley. But people who actually make a lot of money are MBA graduates, when they graduate, so the day of graduation, they're actually set to make $150,000 a year. Wow. Do you see this? Birthplace of Silicon Valley. This place is considered birthplace of Silicon Valley because right behind me is the garage where Hewlett and Packard started HP. They were actually one of the first students to follow their professor's advice back in 1930s to start a company here in California instead of going to the East Coast and working for a big established company, making a lot of money. And I'm sure a lot of people told them they're crazy. I'm sure their parents were like, come on, there's an established way, you can make a lot of money, have, security and stuff. And this is Silicon Valley. This is what it's all about. Doing things that are considered crazy and succeeding. And they were one of the first people who built $1 billion company here, and a lot of people followed. And this is why we live here. This is why a lot of entrepreneurs come to this place, to get the spirit of innovation and to do things that have been never done before. Feeling so inspired right now. This is the garage where HP was created. Behind me is a symbol of Silicon Valley for two reasons. Reason number one, this is a house where Steve Jobs lived for the last 20 years of his life. Just imagine a guy who made this, who created iPhones, Macs, everything that we're using every single day of our lives. The guy who created it lived right there. And the second reason why I think this is a symbol of Silicon Valley is that Steve Jobs' net worth was $10 billion. So the guy whose net worth is like that is living just like a normal person. Yes, this is a wealthy district of Palo Alto. Yes, this is a really nice place. But you don't see fences. You don't see like villages surrounded by lakes as if you would imagine like an oligarch would live. And this is the openness of Silicon Valley. Billionaires just live like this and they're pretty open. And what amazed me actually when we came to Silicon Valley, during our first weeks, we were able to have a meeting with the co-founder of LinkedIn. It's just because of the culture here. Another thing, if you're worrying about security, there is actually security, and I'm going to show you how it works. Steve Jobs' family still lives in this house, and behind me is a car, a black Jeep, and this is actually a security guy. So you wouldn't see like people walking surrounded by guards and etc. You would see something delicate. And a lot of people here in Silicon Valley told me that they've seen Mark Zuckerberg grabbing coffee in Starbucks, and you wouldn't see him surrounded by guards, but you would see just people, standing and pretending they're drinking coffee, but they're actually guarding Mark. And this guy, when he saw us, he got out of his car just to make sure we're doing nothing illegal, because he's protecting the privacy and security of Steve Jobs' family. I have a guest today. His name is Sergey. He's originally from Russia. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me here.
He works for Schlumberger. Is it Schlumberger?
It's Schlumberger, whatever.
Is it French?
Initially it's French last name.
Whenever I tried to say French words, my French subscriber was like, don't do that, no. Say it in American. So he's from an oil company, but he's doing AR. So he's based here in Silicon Valley, and he came here from Moscow, Russia. And I think Moscow is like that innovation center of Europe, because we have a lot of cool stuff going on. And I was wondering, what did you notice when you came from Moscow to Silicon Valley? What were the things that you didn't really associate with innovation here?
It's actually, it's funny, because the first thing I believe that it really stressed me out when I saw those paper checks in the bank. Just for me, it was like, I thought it's just in all the American movies that people use it, because like in Moscow, everything is digital, especially everything concerning payments. It takes you like 5 seconds to transfer money between like you and your friends or whatever. So here, when they gave me that paper book, yeah, with checkbook, I was like, I didn't know what to do with that. And I said, oh, seriously? Like, hey guys. And after that, I had to start using it.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of, it was funny on one hand. On the other hand, it became a little bit irritating. Then you need really to put some numbers there to ensure it takes time. Yeah, you need to physically bring it or send it by mail. So yeah, this was probably the first thing that surprised me a lot.
What about PayPass? Because in Moscow, I would pay like every card, every credit and debit card would have like a PayPass technology. And when I came here, I realized I cannot use my PayPass card. And yesterday, I was seeing my banker, and he's like, Marina, do you know the new cards arrive with the PayPass technology? Oh my God, innovation! Like, come on, we've used that for like 10 years in Russia already.
You know, comparing to paper checks, even like normal credit cards, it's still all right.
Yeah.
So honestly, I got used to that, to this quite quickly. I would even say that today, even when I can pay by PayPass, I'm already just putting chip inside, yeah. So I'm used to that. But of course, it was kind of like other things, like internet. Yeah, we discussed with you before that it's not. You would think that Silicon Valley is the tech center and the innovation center of the world. Yeah, and the last thing that you would expect from this place that you would have problems with coverage. Oh no, you know, first week when I just got T-Mobile like SIM card.
Yeah.
And I couldn't speak from my brother's house in San Francisco because
there was
no coverage at all inside San Francisco. Yeah, so it's not like somewhere in the mountain. I was like, oh my God, so what is happening here? So did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
So why did I suffer for that? So I had to switch to AT&T, and it works much better.
Yeah,
these days. But it still doesn't. It still doesn't work in Pacifica, for example. When I visit my friends. I can talk inside their house. But you know, the thing that I love about the Bay Area, about the Silicon Valley, is actually people come here not for that comfort. Yeah, so people come here driven by their ideas. Yeah, and quite often it probably sounds silly. Yeah, but they have those ideas about products that would make the world a better place. Yeah, and it's amazing. So for me personally, I can live with all those issues or whatever.
Especially in such weather, right? And surrounded by amazing people.
This is the main thing, the community here. Yeah, if for people who really want to get just a comfortable life in the United States, they would initially choose different place. Yeah, we are coming here not for that.
Yeah,
we're coming here because of that community, because of that innovative spirit. Yeah, because of that, I don't know, incredible people around us who actually can help us to develop ourselves, and to build those amazing products.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not me hating Silicon Valley. It's just because when I came here, I had this stereotype that I'm arriving in this futuristic place, and I want people who are, who haven't been here before. I don't want them to have those stereotypes. I want them to be realistic.
No, it's fair. Yeah. So in general, if we have that discussion, about what can be improved here, so there are many things. Like
what about services?
Yeah, services. Depends on what type of services.
Like I tried to get manicure.
Manicure. Okay, so I haven't tried it. So I can't really comment much.
What about healthcare?
Healthcare, it's a different
it's like
topic.
The whole American.
It's a pain. So again, for a person who came here from Russia, first of all, okay, you have to pay for that. So it's already kind of annoying. Second thing is that you have to pay really a lot. Yeah. So if you call for emergency, it can cost you easily like 10,000 just to get to the hospital for 5 minutes.
But then insurance covers like
covered
80%?
Part, whatever. It depends on your insurance, but still, when you see those bills, it's just like it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Or you just you have a cough and you go to a doctor, and anyway, even with the insurance, you have to pay $200 just for the answer that you have a cough. So, seriously, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think what I noticed when I came from Russia is that in Russia you have a lot of labs, and if you want to check something with your blood, you just go there and they do all of the labs for like $30 or whatever. Here, if you want to check something, there is like an online lab where you can order tests, but they're really limited, so you need to get like doctor's prescription.
Maybe also, quality of houses here in general. Yeah, when you arrive here, you'll probably expect, okay, they all live in those mansions with swimming pools and whatever, or in those beautiful facilities. But when you got here, you realize that okay, so for 4-5K you can get 2-bedroom in a building which was which can be easily like 40.
You're talking about your building?
Yeah,
or?
like my building. So not only mine. The building can be easily 40 years old or 50 years old, and the quality of renovation would be the same. It's not like they completely renovated a few years ago, but you pay ridiculous money for that.
Yeah. So talking about money, do you make enough to? Hello, Dimitri.
No, so we were talking about amazing people, yeah. So this is one of those.
Part of the community.
This is one of the reasons why I'm here, in the Bay Area.
Nice. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. We have too much in common, So.
Yeah, talking about money, this is one of the most expensive places in the world. Do you feel that you make enough money to support your family, or you would need more?
Yeah, I would say I earn enough to live here, but I have zero savings at the end of the month. It's basically so I can't complain. Yeah, so we live in the beautiful place, yeah, and in the beautiful climate zone with the amazing people around us. Yeah, and Palo Alto by itself, it's not the cheapest place in the Bay Area. Yeah, so you can get the better deals outside of this town.
And you have a family of 4, including you.
Including me. So
and
2 kids, my
work.
wife and 2 kids. Yeah, we came here like 3.5 years ago, and we're very happy here. So we don't really want to move anywhere.
Cool. So yeah, this is my last question. No, 2 last questions.
Okay.
So one of them is, what are your plans for the future? Do you see yourself here?
I believe I just answered that.
Yeah. That's really cool. It's really cool to finally find a place where you really want to.
No, where you belong to.
Yeah.
So at least I want to believe that I belong to
this
place.
You do. Absolutely do.
It took me quite a long time to get here. Yeah, I believe I had a dream to move here starting till 2010.
He had a whole scheme with his company, how he's going to get transferred to Silicon Valley from Moscow.
Yeah, so it took me around 6 years to fulfill my dream to move here.
Congrats, that's amazing. And my last question, since you're dealing with innovation in daily basis, in the next couple of years, what is the sphere that will be innovated, disrupted?
Since I'm immersive technology manager, so which means I'm working on virtual and augmented reality stuff, I truly believe that the main disruption would come from this domain. And recently we were lucky enough to put our hands on the most recent full-body VR haptic suits that allow you actually to feel everything what is happening in VR.
Wow.
So they're developed by Tesla Suit. It's a company which is with headquarters in UK, but with the main office in Belarus. It's truly amazing. You would think that probably it's some, a future, but it's already here. Yeah, it's already happening, and those concepts about Ready Player One movie, Matrix, it's already happening. So, and I believe in the next couple of years, it actually will become available to all consumers, and we will be talking about that everywhere.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I think it was really useful. Thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you, Marina.
It took us 10 minutes to go from Palo Alto to Mountain View. Everything is super close here, but the problem is public transportation is not that well developed in the innovation center of the planet. So basically, we take car everywhere. Mountain View is a little smaller than Palo Alto, and the majority of people who live here work for big tech companies. Well, when I arrived here, and I told you I was expecting something technological, and I saw something like this, like a beauty salon that looks like, I don't know, Russia in the 90s. And then I also saw the shops selling stones and other stuff that you wouldn't expect to be sold in the technological capital of the world. But this is what it is. This is Mountain View. Looks like a village, feels like a small town, and populated by people who mostly work for big tech companies. By the way, 24,000 people out of 80,000 who live here work for Google. And Mountain View, if you translate it, you can see mountains from this place. Basically, when we were at 500 Startups, we had an office overlooking the whole Silicon Valley, and we were able to see mountains. This is where the name comes from, but right now I'm really hungry. We've been filming for like almost a day. We're gonna go to one of the typical places here in Mount Mu. There are a lot of Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese places. We're going to a Japanese shabu place, and I'm gonna show you what prices look like in one of the most expensive places in the world. So basically, I'm gonna take this piece of meat, put them into the broth, and put some vegetables and eat them. I'm so excited, I'm so hungry. And this is like one of the most popular places in Mount Mu. We had to wait for 30 minutes to get in. So our total is $109.46 for 3 people. And if you haven't been to America yet, Americans are always kindly suggesting the amount of tips that you can leave. So we normally leave 20%, which is $21.89. We're giving this place 3 stars out of 5 because I think we're just used to the city kind of style restaurants, and this is just more of a basic one. When I first arrived in Mount Mu and I stayed here for half a year, I was surprised that buses only passed me like once an hour. And this is so different compared to Europe, for example, where I'm from. And actually, this is a big problem for people who work for tech companies here, because they have to commute at least maybe like half an hour or an hour a day just to get to their workplace. Right now, we're gonna see my friend Mayuko, who is a software engineer for one of the big media companies, and she encounters this problem every day. She needs to commute to her workplace. Before that, she used to work in San Francisco and live in Mount Mu. It would take her around an hour on Caltrain to get to her office. Now she has an office that's closer to her home. It takes her around 20 minutes, but still it's commuting every day. Let's talk to Mayuko. Let's talk to her about the reality of living in Silicon Valley and being a person in tech. When did you move from San Diego?
I moved in 2015, so it's about 4 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you like it?
It's good. It definitely feels like kind of the hub of Silicon Valley, but also there were a lot of surprises in moving here, but we really like where we live right now.
But like what surprises?
I kind of think like, I also had the thought that like tech in Silicon Valley and Mountain View was going to be super intense and techy, but it's a pretty normal town. Like things close pretty early. At the same time, like there's so many software engineers here too, so that was the surprising factor of like literally you talk to anybody on the street and they're working in tech, which is very different from San Diego. So I think it was like in some ways it was very techy, in some ways it wasn't techy in the ways that we weren't expecting.
Yeah.
There's still self-driving cars everywhere, which reminds me that we live really near Google.
Yeah, but still there's a problem with like public transport. You can't
yeah.
really. Have you ever taken a bus here?
No.
No, me neither. I've been to Silicon Valley and San Francisco for 3 years. I haven't taken any public transportation.
I don't even know how to take the bus. Like in San Francisco, it's a little bit more built out because it's a city, but here it's like around Google, Facebook
once
area.
an hour. There's a bus passing by. And that's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you work for this big tech company, right? Yes. Which is based in San Francisco, and you commute every day from here.
Yeah. Actually, my current tech company is 20 minutes south of here, and I commute every day via car. But this is a new position. Previous to that, I was working in San Francisco, so I used to commute from here to San Francisco, which is about like an hour and a half commute door to door. It was pretty long. Yeah. I don't think it's like super like unusual for folks in this area to commute up to San Francisco, or for folks in San Francisco to even commute down to here because of Google and other big tech companies. So long commutes, I feel like, are just like a part of living here, which is a little unfortunate. It's like one of the things that it's like some tech company must have figured this out. And there's been attempts, but I think at the end of the day, it's still just like, it takes time when everyone's trying to go to work in the morning.
Exactly. Could you show me your place?
Totally,
It looks so different from San Francisco because it feels like summer. And
So we're standing in the kitchen right now. My husband and I cook a lot, and so we love being here. We have this nice big island, which I'm a huge fan of. Yeah. Over here we have our dining room. I try to make it pretty homey. I kind of base it off of this piece of art that I have. It's a Marc Chagall print, which my parents gifted to me and my husband when we got married. So because this is blue, we're like, let's make the rest of this kind of bluish, and we've just put a bunch of stuff that we like. That's a big part of us. This is our living room. Have a little bit of a tiny library here with all of the books that we enjoy and have still yet to read, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the pro. I just got my Kindle.
I have so many more books that I've read.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of like a aspirational bookshelf, but I have read a good amount of these, I hope. Should we go upstairs?
Yeah, I really like the cat house.
Yeah. It's a nice piece of furniture.
Yeah.
So we have 2 bedrooms upstairs. Cool. This is our kind of guest room / trying to make it into a studio sort of room.
Yeah.
We used to have roommates and now we don't anymore, luckily. So we've kind of just like done whatever we wanted with this room, and it's kind of still in progress, but I'm hoping to build out a little bit of a filming set here. Got a brand new desk. It's a sitting desk, which I really love. So this is our master bedroom. We have an ensuite bathroom. California king-size bed because Kona takes up a lot of space.
We have the same kind of size, yeah. I feel like Kona has a lot of beds.
He does. He really does. But really,
Wow.
like, he just lounges everywhere, and I feel like I just keep buying dog beds.
Yeah,
because they're so
this
soft.
looks bigger than my bed back in St. Petersburg. How does your typical day look like?
Yeah, so I usually wake up around like 7 or 8, and then I get ready and walk Kona, go to work. Yeah, my work day is usually about an 8-hour day, and then when I come home, take care of like Kona again, make dinner, and then I kind of try to leave the rest of the night to do kind of whatever I feel like. So sometimes if I'm having a really intense day, I'll just like watch TV only. But other days I'll do YouTube stuff. Other days I'll, I don't know, submit like a conference talk. I try to have a good balance of relaxing, but also like, let's do all the things that I couldn't get to today, or for like professional stuff. And sometimes it's just like life things, like I need to schedule a dentist appointment or whatever. So try to have a good balance there, and I try not to plan a whole lot for what happens after work. But yeah, typically that's kind of Monday through Friday, that's what my day looks like.
And Silicon Valley is like one of the most expensive places in the world. Do you feel that you make enough money to survive, or you're like,
Ooh, yeah, that's a good question. I think it really depends on the company that you work for too, because based on the company, they'll pay you at like whatever percentile they feel like is competitive at that moment. So when I used to work at a startup, my salary was a lot less. Now that I work at a really big tech company, it's a lot more. I think that in some ways, like no amount of money feels enough sometimes, but also money can't buy you happiness. But there's a certain level of like standard of living that is like I think important to have here in the Bay Area. I think if you're kind of making the average like software engineer salary somewhere between 100 to 150K, it's like, I think it's enough. You're still like you're still living above kind of the base standard of living, but it's by no means like you're not living like royalty, even though it feels like a lot of money in different parts of the country. Is
YouTube now a substantial part of your income, or you're still
not quite yet? It's like kind of inconsistent because I've just been doing a lot of brand deals. So I've been trying to build up a more consistent method of income, but it is like a good amount.
I feel like when you get this money from views and it just comes in organically, you're like, wow, and I don't do anything for that. I just post content that I like.
You just leave it on there and it just keeps making money, and you're like, okay.
That's my favorite part. What are your plans for the future?
I feel like I'm always questioning like how long I'm gonna stay in technology. Working in tech and working as a software engineer can be really demanding. People say that like 5 years in tech feels like 20 years. Like in a normal work environment. So I think I'm always constantly measuring how that feels to me. Right now, I think like I like where I'm working right now, and I think I'll stay there for maybe a year or two. I don't know. It's also typical to change jobs every 2 to 3 years. After that, I kind of want to try a little bit of like freelancing just to work for myself, and just
mostly through YouTube, or
kind of for both YouTube and for software engineering. So I kind of want to be able to balance the two a little bit better right now, because I'm a full-time employee at a company and I'm doing YouTube stuff. My YouTube stuff kind of suffers a little bit because of just the time. So I do want to build in a little bit more flexibility, and I think freelancing is maybe the way to go, but also there's still so much that I don't know about that because it's such a different method of working than being fully employed. So yeah, I'm kind of assessing my options and seeing where that is. Another thing is like my husband and I I are constantly thinking about how long do we want to stay here in the Bay Area.
Is he also in tech?
Yeah, he's also in tech. He's also a software engineer. We love it here, but it's also really intense. It's very competitive. A lot of people are really ambitious, which is awesome, but it's a little bit stressful. Because we lived in San Diego, we're like, it would be really cool to move back to San Diego one day. So that's kind of one of our dreams. We have no idea where we're going to settle, but we're kind of feeling it as we go.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a safe trip.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you. Yeah, have a good day. Thank you.
Google is one of the biggest employers of Mountain View residents. Out of 80,000 people, 24,000 work for Google. And this is not the only tech company out here. There's also LinkedIn's office, there's Facebook's office, like all of the apps that you're using every single day are headquartered somewhere around here. Let's go and see Google's campus, find out why people want to work there. And by the way, when you go to clubs here in Mountain View and you tell people that you're from Google, this is not that cool anymore. In order to be cool in Silicon Valley, you need to run your own company, you need to start a startup. This is basically what I've heard from residents out here. Let's go and see Google. Welcome to Google's campus. Google was originally founded back in 1998 by a guy from where I'm from, Sergey Brin, and his friend Larry Page. They were doing a research work together at Stanford. They were doing their PhD there. And they're like, we want to consolidate all of the information on the internet and rank it. And this was basically their research project. They didn't want to start well, they were thinking of starting a company out of it, but they weren't really sure to do that. But their professor told them, like, go ahead and do it. This is, by the way, how Stanford is making a lot of money, because they owned a part of this research. And this is how Google started. Right now, it's the second largest company in the world by revenue. The first one is Amazon. It has a huge campus here in Mountain View. They're building a new building. And I'm just surprised how amazing it is when you do something really useful. You're building like a whole conglomerate, the whole city. Google campus is famous for the bikes. You can just come here, take a bike, which is absolutely free, and just drive around the buildings that it has. But the problem is, when I lived in Mountain View, I saw a lot of those bikes in my neighbors' places. So basically a lot of people just take those bikes and do whatever they want to do, go shopping, go to their own work, go home. It's kind of funny. But yeah, that's pretty cool. If you're here, try it. How to tell that you're coming to a very good place in Mountain View. The line has to be outside. So people are basically standing outside, waiting for their bubble tea. Bubble tea came to the US from Asia, and I fell in love with it, Americans fell in love with it, and let's go grab some bubble tea, because this is so typical for Silicon Valley. It's all for me. Just, you know, trying different flavors. I don't care. I need help. Thank you. If you guys ever come here, this is banana milk tea with strawberry and mango jelly. The best ever, like the best milk tea I've ever tried, seriously. Lines never lie. Look for lines outside shops, go in there. It takes around 40 minutes to get from Palo Alto to San Francisco, and the closer you get to San Francisco, especially in summer, you feel that the temperature difference is drastic. It's really, really cold in San Francisco in summer, so I have to wear my coat, and I would never wear like a dress during summer and stuff. We've created so much content today for you guys. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, don't forget to like this video because it's really important for me. And I have a question for you guys. What is the next American city that I should show in this documentary kind of style, showing contrasts of the city? Please comment down below with the city you have in mind. And if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to Silicon Valley Girl. And I'll see you soon in my next episodes.